Hey guys, it's Ryan.
And it's me, and Holy Foley is terrible.
His name's Tom.
Did I say Tom? It's Tom.
No, you didn't. You said it's me.
And it's Tom.
Fucked up already.
It's me, and it's Tom, and it's Ryan, and Holy Foley's terrible.
Yeah, so we spent the last 2 days drinking in the day and watching Holy Foley.
Different episodes at different levels of drunk. None of them really helped the show improve in quality.
Yeah, like, we were stone cold sober for like the last 3. And that was like hungover, so that was painful.
Yes, the first 2 quite drunk, the remaining 3 sad and hungover, and both iterations made me quite angry.
Yeah, we had more fun watching Neil Breen.
Yes, if you have to choose right now what you take from this, if you have to choose between Holy Foley and Neil Breen, you're gonna have a better time with a Breen machine. Amazing.
We're so in sync.
So why is Holy Foley the worst thing ever?
I don't know where to start. I feel like we should just talk about the production of it all, like how it looks and sounds is like a good place to go from, because I think it looks like fucking dog shit.
It's one of the worst technically made reality shows I have ever seen, which is saying something, because reality shows in their nature aren't very well made looking.
But like the graphics are just these ugly. I was saying to you, like the fucking in England we have these BT gas adverts, and they're these horrifying, like half human, half animated, like things driving around in little cars. The opening graphics look exactly like it.
And they walk around with their tiny boys and giant heads, looking a bit like pop vinyl figures, but less charming.
I know what you're talking about. Don't you find Frank MacLeod as a pop vinyl figure? Isn't that a thing you want to see in the future?
Frank MacLeod is already a pop vinyl figure. I don't know if...
Fucking whatever his name is.
Frank MacLeod.
The guy in the thing?
Yes, he is already a pop vinyl figure.
Seriously?
Yeah, you should Google image that shit and show it right now.
I'm gonna put it on the screen. I'm gonna fucking edit this. Just put it out. It'll be just a back background. Still a little hungover. And just us, like, bitching about Holy Foley.
So, you're already in for a really good time when it's this horrible, like, acoustic cover of Mick Foley's theme song.
Which is already a shitty rip-off cover of Lou Way. Side note, I love Mick Foley, but... yeah.
It's like your least favourite part of him.
Well, that and the show.
Yes, it's now...
Those two.
Least favourite part.
Yeah, we'll get into that soon enough. I feel like production-wise, just, yeah, it looks really... Even when it's actually filmed, it just looks the same as any other reality show. It looks the same as, like, especially on the network with, like, Total Divas or whatever, it looks pretty much indistinguishable from that.
There's a lot of, like, really, like, not inventive, like, mid-shots, medium close-ups, and clearly attempts of, if we just hold the same camera angle for, like, 2 hours, we can just edit this together to tell any story that we want to tell.
Like, everyone's really awkward looking right now, right?
Like, a lot of long pauses and reaction shots, and also just, like, cutaways of the dog running around licking feet.
Oh, that was brilliant when they did a literal dog reaction shot at the end of the first episode. The dog's like, oh no, and runs away, and I'm like, this is the laziest piece of shit show.
But also the most realistic reaction I saw in this entire program.
I know there was one point. So is there anything else you want to say on the production before we move on to the fucking awful, I know, like, characters and stories, I guess? Just most of my criticisms.
Just that I'm disappointed in every time a new WWE reality show gets announced, they kind of talk like it's gonna not be the exact same format of a reality show. Like, Total Divas was advertised as, like, a look into the backstage life, and you can kind of see Total Divas being that, like, a reality show. But Holy Foley could actually be really interesting, and a different look at Mick Foley and his family.
But also, yeah, like, I feel like you can make an interesting journey of, like, if Noelle Foley was at all serious about being a fucking wrestler, it would be an interesting journey. It's like following her story, like, you don't get to see that. Like, as fans, we don't know what the training is and all that sort of stuff.
I guess that brings us on. Should we talk about the family themselves as characters?
Yeah, I think, alright, I want to kind of distinguish here. No, we're not shitting on them as people, necessarily. we're shitting on the characters that are portrayed in this show, because it is in nowhere a representation of real human beings.
Like most people, you love Mick Foley and I love Mick Foley.
Yeah.
And his family seems pretty nice. I am even in a minority that I don't hate Frank the Clown. I think he's kind of whatever.
I think, like, I don't have any intrinsic hatred towards him, but seeing his face, I get it.
He has a punchable face, but I know lots of people in real life with punchable faces, and some of them I like.
And you're just like, so you kind of accept it.
Mm.
I mean, it's his goddamn haircut.
His clown haircut or his real life haircut?
Like his real life haircut. I don't know why. Like the shaved, like half shaved head. I don't even have a problem with it on most people. It's just Frank the Clown, in particular. I'm like, oh.
It's an easy joke and it's a low blow, but it's like which haircut makes him look more like a clown?
Oh, I'm doing a little dance. You can't see it.
Air horns.
Yeah, like I'm gonna have those in. This is gonna be the worst thing to ever watch.
I don't know, there's going to be lots of fun music over it and like little like cutaways and like music stings like Holy Foley.
Holy Foley does have a lot of like record scratches or like wah wah.
It has a lot of record scratches and like music slowdown, and also has that horrible sting that you see like or you hear like 30 times in Hell's Kitchen, where
Oh, like
the symbol to mark something dramatic happening.
Mm-hmm.
That once you hear, you can never unhear again in reality TV.
That's going back to production. We went backwards.
We did. Let's talk about the characters. Let's talk about Mick Foley, the hardcore legend, the person that's unlike any other superstar that's ever appeared in WWE, being an overprotective sitcom dad
With a goddamn Christmas room.
with a weird fetish for Christmas.
And it's like, I know that is how he is in real life, but as a fan of Mick Foley, I really don't want to see it. Like, I don't want to see that side of Mick Foley. I don't want to see Mick Foley the human being. It may sound horrible. I want Mick Foley, the, I don't know, hardcore badass, like you said.
There are so many times in the series where Mick Foley is supposed to be this lovable, happy father who his kids are great and they all get along so well. But so many episodes start with either Dewey or Noel like walking up to him and being like, I've just done this, or I've been to this place, and Mick Foley's like, I didn't know that.
How dare you?
Like, what? It's amazing to me that he doesn't know ever what his kids are up to, considering they all live at his house.
Well, he's busy. Because he's not even GM at Raw.
He's not Raw GM at this point.
Even though I like keep him busy like one day a week.
I will say, it is the one part of the show that I actually prefer to Total Divas, the ambiguous time period in which it is filmed, because anyone that's watched Total Divas for an extended period of time quickly picks up on the fact that the timeline is all over the place. And you can see a storyline where in the background you can see the WrestleMania sign, but then what's supposed to be like next week is the week before SummerSlam or something. And you notice horrible like inaccuracies if you're even slightly keeping up with WWE.
In fairness, I do feel like when WWE book, they're like, so WrestleMania happens, and then SummerSlam happens. Like, there's nothing really in between those two, right?
Well, if previous booking is to be believed, then yes. They only have like 5 episodes of Raw a year, right?
That would be good, because Raw is too much for me.
And the rest of it is just reruns.
Like, it is in a way. It's reruns of the scripts.
Should we talk about Noel?
I have a little more to say on Mick. Yeah, like you said, he's like this overprotective dad. I can't remember, it was like the second to last episode. He literally stalks Noel.
Yes.
Like, Noel was like, I'm leaving training early, I've got like a meeting or whatever. That's how she talks. But he basically goes, well, I've got to stalk her and see what she's doing. So he follows her. It doesn't even matter where he follows her to.
Yeah, you don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, like, watch this show. But he follows her, and it's so creepy. And I'm like, Mick Foley's like a creepy old dad. He's too protective of his daughter.
his 22-year-old daughter.
They are weirdly close, and they talk about their genitals far too much.
Like, there's so much genital talk, and then instantly being like, why did I just talk about my genitals? We're so awkward, but we're also loving. We're just a fun dysfunctional family.
Yeah, they keep saying they're a dysfunctional family. I don't think that word means what you think it means.
Besides, like, not telling each other about where they go, there isn't much that's dysfunctional about this family.
Like, they do the goddamn sitcom, but also reality TV thing now, I guess, where we have a misunderstanding, but then we talk out our problems, and everything's fine, and there's never like a recurring problem for any of these people.
You always know that at the end of the episode, everyone's going to be back to exactly how they are. There's going to be another misunderstanding. One of Mick Foley's kids has done a thing. Mick is horrified by this. He talks to his Dan Barry, or whatever his name is.
His friend.
His trainer friend that somehow is way better, like knows way more about Mick Foley's family than Mick Foley.
Oh yeah, wasn't he at one point like, yeah, Noel's been doing that for like how? Yeah, Noel's been training for like a year or whatever. Not a year. It's like for like a little while, like a week maybe. And she just didn't tell you, and Mick Foley's just like, how dare you know about this and be asked not to tell me and then not betray my daughter's trust.
How dare you assume that that's something maybe a father and daughter should talk about?
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Clearly, it's between trainer and daughter's father.
Yeah. So should we move on to Noel? I feel like we've covered Mick and the dysfunctional family quotation marks aspect.
Yes. One thing I will say is that I get a weird Will Smith vibe from Mick Foley, where he seems very, very determined to tell everyone and show everyone how close and loving his family is.
Or like a Tyson O'Neill vibe where he kisses his children on the mouth.
Full on the lips.
I'm gonna play that clip. That's some editing I'll do. Yeah, so Noel Foley is, of course, once again, I want to really reiterate, because I feel like people are gonna be like, why are you shitting on Noel Foley this much? This is just how she has portrayed herself and been portrayed in this show and on like the Stone Cold podcast, and like the character of Noel Foley that we see through media.
But Noel Foley constantly talks like Billy Madison pretending to be his shampoo and conditioner bottles.
I haven't seen that movie, but I can picture it.
She has the most irritating baby voice, where it acts like she's just everything in this show is just dolls, and she is playing with her dolls, imitating all of the characters.
She's always having a great time. She's always like smiling, even when something dramatic is supposed to be happening. She's just like, the only time I felt like there was a real human reaction was when she found out that Mick Foley had stalked her, and for like 1 second she was like genuine human, like, yeah,
like an actual person would react, and not just like a barely concealed smirk as a reaction to everything.
She's super cool, and she's quirky, and she's funny.
And she says her mother has tiggle bitties.
Did she say that?
That's in episode 1.
Oh yeah. Talking a bit about episode 1 in relation to Noel Foley's character. Noel Foley's character isn't Noel Foley really hot?
That is the plot of episode 1. The plot of episode 1 is Mick Foley's daughter is inexplicably hot and also wants to tell the family something.
Oh, is she? So the entire first episode, she goes to each member of the family and says, well, I've got a secret, but I'm not going to tell you until dinner. And each family member says, oh, you pregnant? You pregnant? Like, we only need to see that scene once.
But, you know, it's 5 whole episodes. It's like 100 minutes. You gotta fill. That's a lot of time you gotta fill from like 2 months of filming. It really annoys me because they're on the network, so in theory they can be as long or as short as they like. Like, they don't have to fill it. They're not trying to be Total Divas where they have to fill 45 minutes to go on the E channel. They can be half an hour. They could be 25 minutes. They could be 35. But
each episode feels really padded out and really just like, well, we've got to get to half an hour.
Oh, that brings me to a small aside about the show in general and all WWE shows that air exclusively on the network. I know you're sort of holding out hope for that it will be bought by other channels for reruns, but you don't need to spend 2 minutes telling me who Ric Flair is.
Oh, yeah.
Anyone that has the network knows who Ric Flair is, knows who Becky Lynch is. You don't need to explain who they are to us.
Every person gets at least a minute, I would say, of pure intro video where it's Noelle Foley saying, well, Ric Flair is, that's not how she sounds. Ric Flair is a Hall of Famer, and it's playing clips of him from the WWE Network, available for only $9.99 a month.
He's a legend. He was a pioneer. Him and my dad didn't really get along because reasons.
It was great when him and Mick Foley started talking, and Mick Foley was like, 2-time Hall of Famer Ric Flair talking to me, 1-time Hall of Famer Mick Foley in episode 4.
I imagine that's how all former WWE superstars begin conversations with each other, just by listing off the other person's achievements.
First Money in the Bank holder, Edge. How's it going? Not used properly, Christian.
Yeah, he had a 2-time world champ reign.
Yeah, alright. I'm not saying he didn't do anything. I'm just saying, if we're lining up careers, Christian falls short.
He's still not Edge.
Was he TNA champ?
Yes.
They won't say that, but like when the cameras aren't on, TNA champ, Christian.
And hushed voices.
Vince McMahon's walking by. Good job with TNA. Yeah, back on track. Yeah, the horrible misunderstanding of the target audience of this show.
Which brings us to Noelle's entire half-season arc of wanting to be a WWE superstar. Not necessarily like a wrestler or how to wrestle, or even following in any kind of like footsteps of people before her or starting at the bottom. She wants to be the new WWE superstar. She wants to be the new Sasha Banks, and she wants to go straight to NXT to do it.
Yeah, she's training, but every time she's done, like after any training thing, she's always like, well, it was really hard. It was really hard training, and it always feels like she's in way over her head.
It's the plot point of, I believe, episode 3, where Mick Foley turns up to maybe her 3rd training session, and he pulls her aside and tells her, dead serious, I don't think you're ready yet. And Noelle reacts to this like it's horrible information, and not like, yeah, no fucking shit.
Like, even the best people in the world have trained for more than 5 minutes. I can't remember if it was that episode, but when Mick comes in, he's like doing the fucking guru thing, where he's like, alright, so I'm gonna put you in a headlock and make a face like I'm putting you in a headlock. It's like, that is a guru's wisdom passed down from generation to generation.
That was a good moment, because he also sent everyone else that was there to train home. And then says later in the series that there is no leaving in wrestling.
No, if like an important person has to like train their daughter, like just go. Like, nepotism in the WWE doesn't exist. We can all agree on that.
No, it's established also later in the series that if you're the son of a superstar or a female superstar or whatever, you have to work even harder. It's even harder to succeed than if you're nothing.
Because it's not like Noelle Foley is coming in with loads of exposure and an obvious... I assume Vince McMahon saw her and was like, she's hot if she can wrestle, like, and she's the daughter of Mick Foley, who's really popular. We can push her to the top. Like, also, I feel like Mick Foley, around episode 4, he starts going, well, I don't want her to be a wrestler, because, like, Foleys have to go through tables and jump off Hell in the Cells, and I'm like, they're not going to make beautiful-ass Noelle Foley do anything remotely more dangerous than wrestling Charlotte.
Noelle Foley has gone to the Roman Reigns School of Odds Overcoming.
I would be down for Noelle Foley being the female Roman Reigns. I wouldn't. That would be horrible. Yeah, like, as a character, of course, yeah, in this show, I'm not going to disclaimer it anymore. she always comes across as in over her head. Kinda, you feel like she's just saying she wants to be a wrestler, but she doesn't really have the passion for wrestling. Like, she doesn't seem to have any understanding or love of it outside of, well, my dad was a wrestler, I guess I want to be a wrestler. And, also, yeah, baby voice. I'm so quirky and cutesy.
What I will say about Noelle is that she's probably the character that wears the least amount of WWE merchandise.
Yes! Okay. Literally, every time their family is shown at home, 2 of them at least are wearing WWE merch. Like, not even... Like, one of the kids at one point was wearing an NWO shirt. Yes! That huge fan of the NWO.
Like, it's probably that the Foley family gets an absolute ton of free shirts and free crap.
I also imagine it's copyright stuff. Like, they can't be wearing, I don't know, like a Iron Maiden shirt or whatever. They have to be wearing WWE merch.
It's WWE or Tap Out.
Yeah, or suits. Wear suits.
Yes.
It was great because in one of the episodes, the shirt I am wearing right now and was wearing as we were watching it, he was wearing the same Fight Owens Fight shirt, and I was like, he's wearing my shirt!
That was the happiest reaction you had to this show.
I don't know what you're talking about. I also loved Becky Lynch. I also loved Becky Lynch being in the show. I didn't know.
I loved Becky Lynch clearly not wanting to be on the show.
Alright, so in the last episode of this first 5 episodes, when the rest come out, are we going to do another video like this?
I'm fine to do part 2. I mean, it'll be probably quite shorter because we'll have already established these terrible relationships, unless they've changed, unless the character's completely different for part 2.
Yeah, Becky Lynch is just eating a meal. They're out having dinner together because Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks were training Noelle Foley and obviously thinking, we are so far above this. This is not right. But Becky Lynch is just eating her meal and she's being like, hey, so how's your dad and Frank the Clown and all that sort of stuff. She's disinterested and not having a good time.
The main story of her, Sasha and Becky training also is that Noelle doesn't like her face to be touched. And funnily enough, that problem, that flaw, doesn't really get solved. She instead just locks up again and this time touches Sasha's face.
And they respect her.
They instantly respect her.
And Sasha Banks comes out the next night and she's like, Noelle Foley deserves to be the next women's champion. It's almost holds her hand up. And
it's like Noelle Foley is writing her own fan fiction and living it out in real life.
And then Becky Lynch and her big, strong arms respected me.
And then we went to dinner with gal pals and fist bumped.
And talked about how silly Mick Foley is.
It's clearly... Holy Foley is advertised as a show that's starring Mick Foley and his family, but it is so blatantly a vehicle for Noelle to launch her career. It's really, sad, almost, seeing the rest of the family be completely unnecessary, so second fiddle, compared to the rest of, compared to Noelle and Mick. I'm pretty sure the 2 younger kids, Mikey and Huey, I believe.
I think that was their names.
You can asterisk that if it's not true, you can look it up.
Nah, I'm gonna make you look stupid.
Don't have a single plot in the entire first part.
There was literally, I feel like they said about 2 sentences. They were basically just like, yeah, we didn't help our brother move out.
And that's how the show starts. Yeah, you can get to season 2 or 3 and run out of material for one of your people to use. That happens in reality shows, but when at the very beginning they don't have anything to do, that's kind of a bad sign that one of your main 5 characters, 2 of your main 5 characters, are completely pointless.
3, because the older son, I can't remember his name, but he wants to become a WWE writer, so he becomes a writer's assistant, has a super subplot, like a C plot, in one episode where he becomes a writer and everyone's like, oh, you're Mick Foley's son. and that's pretty much the extent of the plot. That also never got resolved.
It doesn't end. It's just like, oh, if I'm gonna be a writer, maybe I should try and be a writer for me. But we never see him like succeed. We never see him get overly annoyed by people being like, hey, you're Mick Foley's son.
Because like the next episode, he's like, I'm moving out. I'm leaving. And oh, it's such a dick move when his dad, like Mick Foley, has this terrible car he's had for like however many years, and he's like, I'm gonna give it to my son.
And they show you cute archive footage of like Dewey when you see he's like 4 years old, driving around the car. It's got Halloween decorations on it. It's a great time.
Yeah, that was genuinely. I was kind of like, oh, this is okay. This is making me attached to these people. Then he's instantly like, oh, I don't want that dumb car. Don't want that dumb car. And I'm like, you're being given a car. Why are fucking rich American kids like handed a car and it's just like, I didn't want that one. I wanted it in turquoise.
And then just drives away in the newer car that belongs to the Foleys. I assume just to own it forever.
He never brings it back.
Mm-hmm.
They keep bringing him and like, hey, can you like bring your car back? And he's like, sorry, I'm really busy right now writing for WWE.
It was kind of a Happy Day scenario as well, because I believe he isn't seen again for the rest of
he hasn't popped up
season
since.
1, part 1.
Yeah, they did say at the end of the first 5 episodes, they did say coming up in the rest of the season of Holy Foley, which is more than Camp WWE got, which just stopped. Just stopped, and there was obviously more episodes, and they just have not explained it. I'm kind of mad because I was kind of enjoying Camp WWE.
It's just another example of WWE dipping their toes in being more, for lack of a better term, attitudinal. And then, when it gets the slightest bit actually controversial, they pull it.
They're just like, it's done. I wouldn't be shocked if in a couple of years it like just vanishes from the network. And hopefully this will as well when I was going to call her Holy Foley. When Noel Foley's career does not go as well as we expected.
Well, we have a character called No Way Jose. Why not have a character called Holy Foley?
I did really like... There was an episode where she was basically trying to decide what her gimmick should be. About 2 weeks into her training, she goes, what should my gimmick be? Should I rip off one of my dad's gimmicks?
Yes, she tries to find out what her gimmick should be by going to a Halloween shop and trying on different Halloween costumes.
Trying sexy Buffy the Vampire Slayer, sexy bunny rabbit.
I did see the cat tail and think that must be some kind of illegal foreign object in wrestling.
You hit someone with it.
Yes.
And they're like, that's a disqualification. It's like, it's a fucking cat tail.
You don't know, it could be like, have pool cues inside or pool balls.
She pulls like a knife out of it.
Yes.
Like they check the boots, but they don't check the tail.
They don't check the tail. It's not part of the rules.
Well, it's her persona, so.
Goodness gracious.
You tell me Frank the Clown isn't into weird stuff.
Should we talk about Frank the Clown?
What is there to say? He's just a douchebag.
The show quite gleefully makes fun of him at every single turn. I would argue that the people that are refusing to watch Holy Foley because Frank the Clown is in it should feel relieved that the show is very aware that he's the most obnoxious human being you've maybe ever seen.
Mick Foley in every episode is just like, I don't want my daughter to date a clown.
It does the, again, reality show sitcom trope of every episode where he hates Frank the Clown, it does end with him going, maybe Frank isn't so bad, and then immediately goes back to him hating Frank the Clown.
I did like the one episode ended with him being like, maybe Frank the Clown isn't so bad, and then like Noel said like one thing about him, he's like, oh no, he does suck.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay.
At least we saw it go back to normal.
Yeah, I don't want to see the reset. I want to see the admittance of the people's just turning up.
Okay,
he's just this. He's not even. I don't know. He's not that annoying in the show. I guess, like in himself, like his appearance, like him being in it, never makes me go, oh, I don't want to watch it anymore. He's just a punching bag, but one you're kind of like, yeah, punch him.
And what I will say to Frank's credit is that his face-to-voice ratio is not as surprisingly annoying as Noel's face-to-voice ratio, where when Frank opened his mouth and I heard him speak for the first time, I was like, oh, I expected him to be like a nasally James Franco.
What did you expect Noel Foley to sound like?
I just kind of imagined... Honestly, I imagined she'd sound kind of Renee Young-like.
Wonderful and beautiful.
Just a ray of sunshine on every level.
True. A Renee of sunshine.
That's top drawer.
Top drawer humour. Mm-hmm. Right here, right now.
But don't get me wrong, the only reason I can stand Frank on this show is because he's simply there to be humiliated.
I wish they would just go all out and he'd get some guns at the end of every episode or something.
We've talked about it before recording, and we're both very adamant that he should actually be signed to a WWE contract, simply because of how angry it would make everybody.
He should be Noel's manager. She should be a heel. He's her manager. He does the Lana thing where every time she's about to come out, he comes out and introduces her and basically says, "And my fiance, Noel Foley." And that means I'm the only man who can have her. And just instant hatred.
Like, people are throwing chairs at him. Like, the heat you haven't seen since... Like, it will fully... fucking hell, what's the word? But it's more heat than Vicky Guerrero, more heat than Jake the Snake, more heat than Iron Sheik.
Did people hit Jake the Snake?
When he made Damien bite Macho Man, yeah.
Oh, I don't... This is a dark time of WWE I'm not aware of. Not a dark time, I assume it was good. It's just a time before.
But no, Frank's heat could engulf the heat of Vicky Guerrero and Iron Sheik and all those other guys. He will be the new most hated character in WWE history if he is not already.
People, even Real, come out and they'll be like, at least Holy Foley. At least Noel Foley isn't in this match, so I don't have to see Frank the Clown.
You can turn Eva Marie face by having her run out and beat up Frank the Clown.
Yes. She puts on some terrible looking submission, but everyone's still clapping because Frank the Clown's in pain.
Because she might be hurting him for real accidentally.
Like she does the sharpshooter in Canada, so everyone's like cheering, but it's really bad. But everyone's still like, but she's trying. She's trying to hurt him. And that's what's important.
Maybe it sends the wrong message. Maybe it encourages like fans to be obnoxious at WWE shows. But I think he's done it so much better than Brock Lesnar guy and Sign guy.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar guy dating Paige. No,
he's just Brock Lesnar guy. I feel deserves recognition less than anyone else.
Oh yeah.
He deserves to be fucked up for real.
In fairness, I don't know what Brock Lesnar guy looks like. I've never actually seen him in the background because I refuse to have things ruined. I refuse to let him ruin things for me. So I know who he is, I know what he does, but I will never look for him, I will never see him, and I would just ignore it forever.
Well, that's how the wrestlers also try and react to him until they find him at airports.
Oh, I did look through that photo album of all the awkward pictures of him with all the wrestlers just looking like, oh god.
At least Frank the Clown waits until Wizard World.
I thought Frank the Clown was kind of like an airport photograph guy, or is he not?
I haven't seen any examples of that.
Okay, so he's just a guy who turns up. In fairness, I feel like being dressed as a clown at a WWE event, therefore not only distracting me, but also horrifying me, because clowns are scary. Like, it's not on, but I'll take it over asshole who waits at airports. I think that's better.
And if you hate him because he's dating Noelle, I will not. I can leave it at that. I will not try and convince you otherwise.
That's fair enough.
So, should we talk about the rest?
And the rest. All right. So, I'm gonna whip through them quickly as like a description.
The lightning round.
The lightning round. All right. The mum who loves dolls.
She loves dolls, and for one episode, it's barely mentioned previously. Also, she wishes that she could have a better relationship with Mick Foley, so she's the sitcom reality show wife.
Yeah, she's kind of put upon. but she's also kind of crazier than the rest of them.
Yes, she occasionally does the whole Lois Griffin thing, where out of nowhere she's suddenly kind of freaky.
She's like, yeah, like Noelle, like don't look sexy, but also be a model.
Yeah, Frank, check out Noelle's underwear.
That was weird. Alright, so she and Frank are having a conversation, and she's like doing laundry, and she's just like, hey, you've seen these before, right? Like dangling Noelle Foley's basically no fabric underwear, like in front of his face. It's like it's not something I want to see. It's not something I want to see happen to another person. It's not a situation I want to see people in.
It feels like we're having our cake and eating it too a little bit by wishing that these people could be actual human beings, and also criticizing it for its terrible storytelling. But when it does both so badly, it deserves to be criticized for it. And where I'm going with that is both Mick and, forgive me, I don't quite remember Mick's wife's name.
Mick's wife.
Mick's wife. Okay. So Frank has been dating Noelle for more than 2 years. And they constantly act like they have been dating for like a month.
I presented a counter argument to this, where I said, I think quite probably Frank the Clown never goes to their house. I don't think they interact. I feel like they know she's dating Frank the Clown, but they always go to his house. They're always out. Like, he's never over. Like, he's never over at their place. Speaking of over, Mick Foley's fucking stand-up routine, where he's just, literally all he does is Miz jokes.
Like, what happened to, have you run out of material for Al Snow, Mick? Why have you moved on to Miz?
Well, Al Snow's in TNA now, so we can't acknowledge he exists.
It's true.
He has to pretend. Now, like, so people are like, make an Al Snow joke, and he's like, who? And what's he been doing for the past few years?
I heard Miz. Gonna make Miz jokes.
Like, name a WWE guy I should make fun of. I heard Miz. I heard. He didn't go for anyone else.
Nope.
Yeah. It's really sad. He makes all these. It's obvious that they were like, "Hey Mick, make some terrible jokes so we can do funny reaction shots of people being like, oh, that's not funny." And he was like, "Okay."
Well, it's a lot of reality show editing makes this seem so out of place, and so the order is so janky, and never is that more apparent than in something like a comedy show where somebody says something and a huge group of people reacts accordingly. So there's a line where Mick Foley says, "So you see Frank the Clown over there," and this is paraphrasing. "He's not actually a clown. He just dresses up as a clown," and the audience finds this hilarious.
Oh, they go crazy. It's like
it's full like
George Carlin did the 7 Words You Can't Say on TV.
It's full like hooting and like hollering. Like they're clapping. They think this is genius.
Like he isn't a clown, but he dresses like a clown. And it's not like, if he'd been dressed like a regular person, I'd kind of be like, all right, the burn is he dresses like a clown all the time, even when he's not dressed like a clown. But he's actually dressed like a clown. It's not a burn. It's a fact. It's a statement of intent.
It's never really addressed either that, like, it's established basically that Mick Foley is bad at stand-up, but it's not something that he seems like he really cares about getting that much better at.
Yeah, I think
it's just a thing he does.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm having a good time. Like, no one's gonna stop me. Like, I can go up to someone and be like, hey, do you want Mick Foley, WWE legend Mick Foley, to do a night at your club? And they'll be like, yeah, sure. You can put it on a poster. Put Mankind on there or whatever.
Still, stand-up's probably better than Dolph Ziggler's.
I want to see Dolph Ziggler stand up. I'm curious about what he does, because I feel like he can be charismatic. I don't know if he's funny.
This is where you put a brief clip of him doing stand-up in the video.
Is it on YouTube?
He tweets it. He tweets video links.
Oh, I feel like that's mean though, because that's stuff he posts. I want it to be like fan cams.
No, he
links. All right, yeah.
Fans send it to him and he retweets it.
They're like, here's you doing stand up, and he's like, I haven't seen this one.
Like, oh wow, the laughter is louder from your end.
Do you think Dolph Ziggler may possibly have this. I pitched this as a problem with Noelle Foley. She's one of those people that she's so attractive. People laugh at all her bad jokes, and she's never realized she's not funny. And I feel like Dolph Ziggler is a very attractive man, and he may have gotten that same treatment.
People laugh because they kind of just want to be friends with him, because you kind of can't help but want to be friends with someone that looks like Dolph Ziggler.
I'd just be like, can you just hang around with me? Not even to like not to pick up girls or anything, but just so I can be like, look at the friends I can get. Look at how high I am socially.
Look how funny I must be.
Yeah. Look at how great a personality I must have to make this work. And we were doing a lightning round. I feel we went off topic, but also there was no one else. Like, there's the 2 other kids.
Well, have we talked about Dewey? Like Dewey, like the eldest?
Yeah, we talked a bit about how he wants to be a writer and how he's a dick because he just steals the family car.
We were mostly speaking in tangents, I feel like, about Dewey, but in those tangents we've fully explained who Dewey is as a person, because we've done a better job explaining who Dewey is as a person than the show did. Yeah,
he was a non-entity. He was just a guy.
He did things, he had plots, but he never really had any kind of like actual personality or motivations.
Much like the women wrestlers in WWE, he always felt like he was having a plot, but it was in no way related to like anything else that was happening.
Mm-hmm. It's the Dewey Revolution.
No, it's the Dewey Evolution now. I believe they're calling it. It's the women's evolution, not the Divas Revolution. Because can we, once again, to go off on a tangent of other things we can do, can we watch like that WWE 24 women's evolution, talk about it? Because I want to talk about how they've treated that period of women's wrestling.
A women's revolution to evolution rant.
Yeah. Like at some point, if this is super popular, guys, all my millions of fans.
Do you want to see a women's evolute to grown men
talk about
knowing WWE better than they do?
If you agree that we are better at WWE than they are, let's not even that. I disagree with how they portrayed history, but that's a different thing. That's a different story. Back on topic. Is there much more to say about Holy Foley?
You've got Apple Diep and Taboo, the youngest kids.
I can't remember their names.
Yeah.
Basic, once again, non-entities, didn't even have storylines.
Didn't have a storyline, kind of had each episode had like one sit-down interview clip of them, like a token one per episode. But yeah, they were kind of just around to occasionally just be the brick wall for Mick Foley to just talk to himself at. And they just kind of sit there wearing WWE merch.
In the last episode, he takes them to the garage and he turns the light off and he's shining a light in their face and he's interrogating them about where their mum gets the dolls. That's a real scene from this reality show.
That was their biggest moment in the whole series, I believe. Apart from them playing basketball badly.
Hey, they were great. They were trying their hardest.
There's some people you feel like you get the feeling that they weren't consulted on being a part of this reality show.
Yeah, I felt they sat down as a family and they were like, well, Noelle needs to kick off her career, so we're gonna do this reality show. Does anyone have a problem? And they were kind of like, they did have a problem with it, but they didn't want to say. Is the feeling I get. Like, they don't really want to be there. I don't feel like any of them want to be there, other than Mick and Noelle and maybe the mum.
So that's Holy Foley.
Yeah, I'm trying. I didn't make notes. I was gonna make notes because I always forget something if I don't make notes. But I feel like there's nothing else I particularly want to cover about, because we in a roundabout way talked about how the storylines play out and all that sort of stuff. I guess I just want to talk about it's a really weird thing to release 5 episodes at once and then take a break.
Let it sit almost. I guess I can understand it in terms of that you want fan reaction to build up, hopefully positive, and then release the other episodes to get a bigger audience, perhaps. But first of all, this is probably backfired pretty hardcore, no pun intended. But it also, it's just seems like you're deliberately keeping things from your audience, especially when you're still advertising and setting up for part 2. It's clearly ready to come out, and you're just gonna sit on it for a while.
I also feel like 5 episodes wasn't enough.
No,
because I wanted to see more. But really, I feel like 5 episodes isn't enough of a show. Like, if you're gonna release a show, you need to release either all of it at once, or like they were putting Camp WWE, they were putting Edge and Christian show out like once a week, and I feel like that would have worked better for this.
especially considering each episode is only 25 minutes long.
Yeah, like somewhere between 25 and 30, usually.
Like, we basically got a Holy Foley reality movie out of this.
It was great. It was worth it.
Gonna be so excited for part 2.
Yeah. I feel like of the network originals I've watched, this is the worst.
It may be like it's clearly an indicator that there are different teams going on making programs on the WWE Network, and on one level that's a very good thing because it means not everything is Holy Foley, but it's also a bad thing
because some of the things are Holy Foley. Because
it means not everything is WWE 24 or Swerved.
Swerved is pretty good.
Yeah, Swerved is fun.
Swerved is. I really like Unfiltered with Renee Young. Not just. I think she's genuinely a really good interview. I know. Mostly when I say things about Renee Young, it'll be she's a beautiful, lovely ray of sunshine, but she's also a good interviewer. What else is there on the network? Edge and Christian show I enjoyed. Camp WWE wasn't great, wasn't terrible.
Yeah, it was fun cringe.
Yeah. Well, you liked the John Cena episode where you just won't give up.
I liked John Cena's characterization on Camp WWE very much.
Everyone else, like Paige and Undertaker and stuff, they were cringy. This isn't Camp WWE review. This is Holy Foley. But I don't buy the network if you want to watch this show. Because, one, I don't understand why you don't have the network, but you're aware of Mick Foley and you're aware of Noelle Foley, and you want to watch this show. But other than that, I don't know. If you already have the network, and if you enjoy trash, if you enjoy shit, I say give this a go. It's funny. There's a lot of stuff to shout at and complain about, and if you enjoy that, then I think give it a go.
I would say it's a so bad it's good show for yourself. I wouldn't recommend showing it with friends, especially friends that don't know WWE.
Yeah, and we had someone was in for like an episode who hasn't watched wrestling since the Attitude Era, and basically said Mick Foley was ruined for him and I feel like ruined for everyone by seeing this side of him. So don't show people who love Mick Foley this.
This show is the equivalent of Al Pacino and Jack and Jill.
Yeah, you just lose all respect.
You just remember just close your eyes and try and think of the good old days.
Yeah. So that's been Ryan and Tom. This show doesn't have a name. I don't know if it's even a show.
I don't even know if it's Ryan and Tom or just Ryan featuring Tom.
No, it's Ryan and Tom.
That's nice.
It's good. This is a collaboration. I don't know if you timed it. It's probably half an hour. You might have talked more on my channel.
We're actually at 50 minutes.
Yeah. That's right. No one's got it on this long. Fucking rambling asshole. You are as well.
Rambling asshole.
I am a rambling ass. I'm not talking about assholes. All right. Anyway, be sure to like and comment and subscribe. Do you want to see Tom on the channel more? Do you want to see me on the channel? Do you want just Tom? Because you can have that.
Am I just the Frank the Clown of this channel? We'll see.
You are. You're the Frank the Clown. You're the Poochie.
Well, this was more of like that French clown thing than actual clown makeup. Like, that wasn't what I was going for.
Alright, I'm going to stand by Poochie because you're also wearing a backwards cap. People at home can't see it, but he's wearing a backwards cap. It's the most Poochie to ever Poochie. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe. If you want more, say you want more.
If you don't, if you also want more, say nothing.
Yeah, if no one stops me, I will continue. Is a fair way to put
It's a
it.
fair warning.
Yeah.
Alright, we good?
Yeah. Fucking audience, I hate them so much.
Oh, cunts, right?
Yeah.
Even worse than Frank McLeod.